Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video, another live stream. We are talking all things Liverpool today. I hope we're all doing very well though. I hope we're doing very well. I hope we're all good on this Monday afternoon. We're talking all things Liverpool, like I say. But of course, this is just as much your show as it is mine. So please get involved in the comment section. You want to talk about anything and everything to do with football. You want to talk about anything you want to do you're doing during your day, anything you've got coming up this week, let us know. Let's have a big chat and discussion. We're all here though mainly to talk football and mainly, of course, to talk about the Reds in that regard. But I hope we're all doing well. Really do hope we're all doing well. Hope we're all doing fantastic on this Monday afternoon. Big up to each and every single one of you for being here. As I always say with these videos, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. We're trying to get to obviously 1K by the end of the year. Whether we do that or not remains to be seen. But of course, that is what the aim is here. But yeah, as I always say, get involved. Hit up the chat. Let me know where you guys are watching from today. Let me know what you guys are up to today. And of course, any kind of footballing topic that you want to talk about, want to discuss, or anything along them lines would be greatly appreciated. We are, of course, going to be talking mainly about Liverpool. We're going to be looking back at Saturday's victory over Aston Villa. We're going to be looking ahead to what is going to be a massive week in the season of Liverpool Football Club. We have Real Madrid coming up tomorrow night. We have, of course, this upcoming weekend's massive game at the Etihad Stadium when we take on Manchester City. So we're going to be looking ahead to that a little bit. But yeah, hope we're all doing very, very well indeed. Big up to Alex, who was here in the chat earlier. He basically simply says, "What's up?" If you're still here, bro, I hope you're doing well. And what's up yourself? We finally won a match. Yes, we finally won in the Premier League. We stopped the rot in the Premier League, ending our 4-game losing streak at the expense of course, Aston Villa, in a game in which I was not entirely confident going into that game. I didn't think we'd win. I'll be honest with you people. I did not think we would actually do as well as what we did. I was worried that Arne Slot would again put out the wrong team. I was wrong that the squad wouldn't be able to carry out the basics. And I was worried that Aston Villa would exploit our very obvious and very clear weaknesses. That ultimately didn't happen. Am I happy? And obviously, was I happy and ecstatic that we won? Absolutely. I was so happy that we managed to stop the rot. I was so happy we managed to get the 3 points. I was happy we managed to get the victory that we desperately needed. That win was ultimately non-negotiable in the end, because obviously we couldn't lose any more games. We can't lose any more games in this particular run that we are on right now. And it's fantastic that we managed to get the win. Fantastic that we managed to get the win. A well-deserved win, a very much well-earned win overall. Our pressing was brilliant from start to finish. It was so good to see our press back in this team. The manager got it 100% right in terms of the starting lineup, starting Robertson over Kirkez. Playing the midfield 3 that I have wanted to play with Ekitike rather than him trying to shoehorn Florian Wirtz into that setup with Ekitike. I've talked about that so many times, but I felt like the manager got it 100% right on the day. And of course, I've been very critical of Arne Slot these past few weeks. So for him to get it right, I am happy about. Does that mean I'm going to flip-flop from my position that I was in earlier on this week? Absolutely no. At the end of the day, I want what's best for Liverpool. And I'm not just going to basically flip-flop based on the given result, because the result on the day was impressive, but the next result might not be. So what, am I just going to flip-flop from my position of slot out, slot in, slot out, depending on whether we win or lose? No. My position is, until I see a level of consistency, the likes of which, of course, won us the Premier League title last year, it's not going to really change my mind right now. A lot of us not myself included on this one, I will admit, but a lot of people thought that we were back after Frankfurt. That didn't turn out to be the case because we lost instantly straight after that to Brentford. Shocking and poor defeat to Brentford. Then we went on, obviously lost to Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup, admittedly, but it was still another loss. And Arne Slot got it wrong on that day as well. So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. I'm not going to get too carried away. It was a fantastic win on Saturday against what could have been a very tough opposition. But we got the job done. And now we move on to other games and big games coming up this week. What I will say about the Aston Villa performance and win, as much as I praise the players for doing their jobs, as much as I praise Arne Slot for picking the right team and for doing his job, I will say that, in my opinion, Aston Villa didn't do enough. Aston Villa weren't at full capacity. Aston Villa didn't exploit our weaknesses in the same way that Brentford did, in the same way that United did, in the same way that Palace have done, Galatasaray did to an extent, Chelsea did, United did, whoever did. And that has beaten us over the course of the past 6 weeks or so. They didn't exploit the weaknesses that Liverpool have in their setup in the same way that those other teams have done. And you can say that maybe Liverpool got away with it a little bit. You can maybe say that they didn't do that because Liverpool were on fire that day. Liverpool were on form. And there was a bit of that. And I do want to kind of be as positive as I can with the entire game and the entire performance. And I want to say that Liverpool were great on the day in all aspects. And that's why we neutralised Aston Villa to barely anything. That's why we obviously killed the game off when we did. That's why we controlled the game as much as we did. I want to say that's all down to Liverpool. And to an extent it was. To a great extent it was. But there's also a part of me that wants to say Aston Villa didn't play to their fullest capacity. Aston Villa didn't exploit the weaknesses that they so easily could have done. You know, the only real effort on goal I felt they had was in the opening few minutes of the game where Morgan Rogers hits the post. That's really the only moment I would say in which somewhat worried me a little bit. But for the most part, that was their only threat. And credit to Liverpool for neutralising that threat for the most part. Ryan Gravenberch was outstanding. Dominic Szoboszlai was outstanding. Everybody else around them had solid performances. I thought Ekitike was great. To say that he didn't score a goal, he was a constant threat and he was linking up play. Mo Salah had his best game of the season. Connor Bradley was good. Andy Robertson was rolling back the years. It was a very, very good all-round performance. Alexis McAllister came under so much criticism this season, but he was back to his best in that game. Now, again, was that down to Liverpool? Yes. Was that down to the confidence that the crowd gave them on the day? They fed off that energy 100%. Again, I'm just a little nervous to go too ahead of myself, simply for the reason that I don't think Aston Villa were on the day particularly great. So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but it is a very, very good win. Very well-deserved win. And I'm happy that we stopped the rot, like I say. We just need to now go and put in a good performance against Real Madrid. Go and put in a good performance against City. Look, am I expecting us to beat these two teams? I think we may have a better chance of doing it against Madrid than City. City, with the way that they're playing right now, and with the directness, and with obviously Erling Haaland being in the kind of inspired form that he is in, another brace for the Norwegian goal machine yesterday. I do feel like there is a possibility that we have more of a chance of beating Madrid than City. But that's not to say that we can't still go and beat them. Slot needs to continue putting out the right team. The team needs to continue to be able to do the basics first and foremost, and then grow into the game as the game wears on. Because as you saw from the Aston Villa game, it was a nervy 10 minutes. But once those 10 minutes kind of bypassed and the team overall settled down and we started to play some nice football, and not only that, but you saw the confidence, especially in our key players. You saw the confidence flow. You saw Mo Salah start to take players on again. You start to see Mo Salah get on the ball and he just started to like drop the shoulder and go past a player or two. It was great to see. And then you saw like Ekitike, a couple of flicks, a couple of tricks here and there. Ekitike, the confidence was flowing through him again. Cody Gakpo, another couple of layoffs and a couple of flicks for him as well. You just saw the confidence oozing out of that team as the game wore on. That is what I want to see more of. And as far as the new players are concerned, the likes of your Florian Wirtz's, your Isaks, your Kirkez's, your Frimpongs. I think if obviously I know Isak and Frimpong injured, I get that. So his hand was kind of forced not to play them. I want to see, obviously, when Frimpong does come back, I want to see him more in the team than out of the team, admittedly. But for the rest of them, like a Kirkez, like a Wirtz, if we go back to how we played last season with pretty much the same team that played last season, how we did here, with the exceptions being Mamadashvili in goal and obviously Ekitike up front. The rest of the team was pretty much from last season. Play that team. This is what Slot should have done from the beginning. Play pretty much a team that is the same as last season, with the obvious exception being the striker, and bleed the other players in gently. That's all he had to do. Jurgen Klopp was a master at bleeding players in gradually. And sometimes we were sat there as fans a bit frustrated or a bit confused as to why we would go out and put so much effort into buying certain players only to have them sat on the bench. But you know what? When they eventually did arrive in the starting 11, they hit the ground running and they were awesome. I feel like we need to hit the reset button a little bit on Wirtz, on Isak, on Kirkez, on whoever, because the only summer signing that has actually hit the ground running has been Ekitike. I feel like on some of these other signings, we need to hit the reset button. We need to gradually bring them into the fold. We need to bring them on with about half an hour or so to go, put them on the pitch and say, just go and play the game. Go and play the game. Go and play how we told you. Go and bleed in slowly but surely. Because that's the only way I think we're going to get these players to bleed in. And rival fans will laugh. Rival fans will say, oh, look at this. Liverpool have got 240 odd, 50 odd million or whatever it is, just sat on the bench there. Oh, how embarrassing that they've put all this effort into buying these two signings, broke transfer records, and they're sat on the bench. And we'll take that L for a little bit. But you know what? In the long run, I think it will benefit us. In the long run, I think slowly bleeding them in will benefit us. And I also do think, like I mentioned before, there's a certain combination in this team that works, and the other combination needs to be left for other games. The combination we played on Saturday with McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai in midfield, with Ekitike up front, that works. The other combination is going a bit more attacking with Wirtz and Isak up front rather than the three in midfield. Rather than those kind of three in midfield, we go with Wirtz instead of a McAllister, or Wirtz instead of a Szoboszlai, or Wirtz instead of a Gravenberch, and then we go Isak up front. those two combinations need to now be separated. I don't really, unless of course you're playing two up top, don't want to see Wirtz and Ekitike playing together, because it doesn't quite work out as better as what it would with a flat midfield or with Wirtz partnering Isak. It just doesn't quite work for me. But those two combinations need to be separated, and it's great that we have options and flexibility, and it does mean that we can go into most games and we can keep it a little bit unpredictable. Are we going to go with an Ekitike who is more mobile up front, or are we going to go hell for leather and go with a more creative outlet in Wirtz who will exploit spaces that are left behind by the midfield between the defence and the advancing midfield, and go with Isak, who is always looking to spin off the last man and go in behind, and Wirtz and Salah and can play that kind of ball in, and Wirtz will, and Isak will be away. That is what I want to see more of. That was a great way of starting it, but now we need the consistency. Now we need, obviously, the level of I'll just say consistency again. I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but that is the level of consistency I want. That is the level of that is the level of performance that I want to see more of. I just needed that. That's why I've been ranting and raving for as long as this poor run of Liverpool's has been going on for. That's why I've been ranting and raving that I want to see more of the good performances shine through. And that on Saturday was a very good all-round performance by Liverpool, the likes of which has been too long. It's been too long since we've seen that, and it's been too long since that should have actually became more apparent. I'm really happy about that. Big up Marco's in the chat. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Is Emi Martinez riding on World Cup and Continental Cup success? Tells, but is he actually mid? He had a shocker. And it's not for the first time. You know what? I don't think he's riding on that. I still think he's a very good goalkeeper. I just don't think his heart is in Aston Villa no more. I just don't think his heart is with Aston Villa no more. We saw across the summer how he wanted to get a move away from Aston Villa. We saw all the rumours and all the reports about how certain clubs were interested. He was seemingly on Manchester United's radar at one point, but he stayed at Aston Villa. I just don't think his heart is in Aston Villa anymore. I really don't think his heart is with Aston Villa anymore. I think he wants to move away. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. But, yeah, I still think he's a good goalkeeper. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see on Martinez. Wow, why higher chance of beating Madrid than City? In my opinion, it's the other way around. I just think with the way that Pep's trying to go a bit more direct, a bit more long ball, he might adapt more than what Xabi Alonso might do. Xabi Alonso, I feel like a bit more playing out from the back, which might help Liverpool a little bit. They're still dangerous. There's still plenty of gaps in behind for their main players like their Mbappes and things to exploit with their pace in behind. But I just think that with the way that Real Madrid play and with the way that City could adapt, I just think that they may be able to exploit us more than what Madrid do. They're going to be difficult games either way. But if I had to put like a percentage on it, I'm probably giving a higher percentage in the Real Madrid game for Liverpool to win than the City game. But yeah, either way, I'm both excited and nervous at the same time. Big up Ballum is in the chat. Lovely to have you here, my bro. May do something 2 months to reach 1,000. You have 950. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. If they don't want to subscribe, they don't want to subscribe. It's cool, bro. It's cool. But yeah, I appreciate it if they do. The love and support is always appreciated, and I'll try and repay you back someday. But until then, it's all good, man. We're just going at our pace, bro. Do subscribe so folks can give away by Christmas time for viewers. I mean, maybe a bit too soon on that, but yeah, I mean, like I said, any love and support, very much appreciated. Like the videos, subscribe, all of that good stuff would be greatly appreciated. So I do appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. I'm glad you are too, man. Good to have you here with us again. Saw how Ekatike toned his celebration way down. Let's be honest, like it wasn't. Let's be real. He's learned from that mistake, bro. He's learned from that mistake. He won't be doing that again. At least not whilst he's on a yellow card. At least if he scores a winning goal in like a Champions League final or something, and he's not on a yellow card, then maybe he might do that. Who knows? Salah 250. Can he get second place in the list? 286 is the next target. Might be a bit of a push, that one. Might be a bit of a push. He can get close though. He can certainly get close. But 36 goals between now and potentially the end of next season. Well, I say at least, but you never know what might happen this summer. So you never know. You never know. Are you going to be the next Wolves manager? No. Seems to be Gary O'Neill, though. They're going back to Gary O'Neill. Bit of a strange one, in all honesty. Get Big Sam back. Get Big Sam back in the game. Tony Pulis would thrive, given how long throw-ins and long balls and free kicks and things like that are now back in fashion in football. Big Sam and Tony Pulis are probably itching to get back into the game. Could you imagine? Nah, not me. Seems to be Gary O'Neill, though. We shall see. We shall see what happens. But yeah, the latest is that Gary O'Neill is in talks to return to Molineux for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think Wolves are a bit of a lost cause this season as it is. So whoever goes in there has got a bit of an uphill struggle. I didn't expect them to struggle this badly, in all honesty, but here we are. Did you dress up as Captain Jack Sparrow on Friday night in Hooters? No, not me, bro. I don't know if you saw someone like that, but not me. Nah, I didn't dress up for Halloween this year. Or go to Hooters. So there you have it. Lad banter. Fair play. Wolves are down for me. This means one of newly promoted teams could stay up. Well, it does actually seem like it'll be that kind of curse will be broken this year. Sunderland are doing amazing. I predict them to actually beat Everton tonight, so I think their good start to the season will actually continue. Leeds have had a bit of an up and down start. Burnley have had a better start than what I was imagining, so I think it's probably likely that that Sunderland do stay up. The other two may be in a bit more danger as the season wears on. But it does seem like Sunderland's doing very, very well right now. So fair play to them. Ten Hag linked with Wolves too. Not sure Ten Hag is up for it. Ten Hag's a strange one, man. I do think there is a coach in there. But I don't know if it's Wolves' level. I'm not 100% convinced. I don't think it's fair to maybe judge him on his Leverkusen, well, period, shall we say, like of a couple of games. I don't think it's fair to judge him on that, but I don't know. I don't know about Ten Hag. I don't know. Like, he did really well, obviously, at Ajax. United, considering everything, he still managed to walk away with 2 trophies in 2 years, which a lot of teams would snap your hand off at if you were to offer that to them. So I think there is a decent enough coach in there. I just don't know if it will match up with Wolves, though. That's the only thing I'd be concerned at. That some managers do well with certain teams do well with certain managers, and it's strange the way that some managers fit clubs better than other managers, and some of those managers that fit clubs better than other managers are some of the managers that you wouldn't expect to fit well, and some managers that you would expect to fit like a glove don't tend to fit well. It's a strange one, but yeah, Ten Hag is certainly an interesting case. We shall see, though. It probably is going to be Gary O'Neill, though. It probably will be Gary O'Neill. Wolves 0 wins in 10 games is shocking. Absolutely abysmal record. Fletcher's spoken. He wants to see Sam Allardyce or Roy Hodgson. I just think in the modern day game, as things currently are right now, with this whole trend of long throw-ins, long balls, free kicks, and the like, Big Sam would thrive. Give him a team of physical, massively built like rugby players. Big Sam would thrive, and he would probably get whatever team into the Champions League. That may be pushing it. But yeah, maybe pushing it a bit. As high as Sunderland are, I still have them being relegated. Fair enough. Bold take. I think their start to the season has been very good. I think their home form will probably see them through the rest of the season. I do expect it to level out at some point, and I know they have Arsenal next week, so that's going to be a very tough game for them. But yeah, I think they've got a good chance now of staying up. For Leeds' chances, they need Wolves to mess up. But here's the thing. So are you saying there are potentially 3 worse teams? There are 2 other worse teams other than Wolves for Leeds to get above them? And if so, I'd like to know who they are. It's an interesting one. Like I say, Burnley are probably going to be favourites to go down by a lot of people. But then who's the 3rd team? Because you could potentially say West Ham, but West Ham looked very good against Newcastle last night. Nottingham Forest, maybe. They're currently occupying that one of the relegation spots, but I would imagine that Sean Dyche will eventually get it right with them. As far as the rest goes, like Everton and Fulham will be fine because you know that they will be because they're Everton and Fulham. Newcastle will be fine. Brentford might get pulled down into that battle as the season wears on. Villa will be fine. Brighton will be fine. Palace will be fine. United will be fine. Everybody will be fine other than the current bottom 5 and maybe then Brentford. I think eventually it will just level out in that way. Marco says that he low-key rates Erik Ten Hag. Fair enough. Erik Ten Hag was just 10 weeks into his Bayer Leverkusen career. Yep, it was a very, very short stay. A very short stay. Nice shirt, bro. Klopp. Yep. Big up Jurgen. Big up Jurgen, man. Xhaka has been very good for Sunderland and captain. Hendo's been good for Brentford. Yep, it just proves to you, man, like this whole narrative that once you turn a certain age, you're done. It's complete BS. It's complete BS. There is still life in those 2 players yet. And fair play to Sunderland for recognising that in Xhaka. and fair play for Brentford for recognising it with Henderson. Does that mean does that mean that they would actually do well for teams higher than them? Maybe not. I just don't see it. But for their current teams and the way that they are playing, they suit the systems really, really well. So fair play to both of those teams. I think Wolves and Burnley are a definite two to go down. Third team could be anyone, such as West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Leeds. I think they might stay up. Sunderland, Fulham will be fine. Yeah, of course, Fulham will be fine. But yeah, Burnley and Wolves seem to be the two that everybody's going with. The third team is going to be interesting. It's going to be certainly interesting to see. Why the teeth emoji? I don't know. I don't know why he put the teeth emoji, but I guess it's for Klopp's teeth, but we shall see. Brian Broby, I can't speak. Good signing for Sunderland too. It's the Xhaka one, man. No one would have probably suspected Xhaka to be a great signing, but Xhaka's the one. In a sea of signings, by the way. I know they made a lot of signings, and I know they made a number of signings, but they sort of had to in a way. Be interesting to see if, anything does come out. Because the last promoted team to make a number of signings was, of course, Nottingham Forest. And then about a year and a half later, it was revealed that Nottingham Forest had actually broken FFP. To make those signings. And as bad as what it was, Forest got, what was it, a 4-point deduction? Something along them lines, and a slap on the wrist. I just wonder if, I'm not accusing Sunderland of breaking rules, but I'm just wondering if that was the case and teams are seeing that, especially the newly promoted ones, whether they are happy taking the hit, running the risk of a 4-point deduction and going, it's only 4 points, we'll be fine, we'll take it, but it keeps us up in the Premier League, which in the bigger picture and in the grand scheme of things would work out for us. Because I imagine that's what Forest sort of did in a way. I know that Forest claimed that they were innocent, proven incorrectly, but I'd be shocked if deep down Forest didn't exactly go like, I know it's kind of bad that we do this, but the worst case scenario is we get a bit of a fine, we get a 4-point deduction, bit of a slap on the wrist, but bigger picture is we stay in the Premier League, we get a lot more money, we're all good. Just wonder if certain teams may see that. I could be talking absolute rubbish for all I know, which wouldn't surprise me, and it's not the first time. Xhaka has been very good for them, absolutely. Southampton fired their manager yesterday too. Yeah, Will Still is gone, the football manager legend. Has anyone bought the new football manager, by the way? If anyone has, let me know. Let me know what you're thinking of the beta so far. The game is officially released tomorrow, I believe. Is it tomorrow or Thursday? It's either tomorrow or Thursday. I can't remember which one. I think it's tomorrow. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about that. I've got it. I'm okay with it so far. I've got a bug, though. I've got a bug in my game. The second half won't start. I need to change the highlights. I need to change the highlights. Because for whatever reason, I get to half time, I do the whole team talk and change tactics or whatever, and then I press play, and the players are all out there on the pitch, but play just won't start. I've got a bit of a bug on that, so I need to see if that's a problem with my game particularly, or what. But I don't know. But it is what it is. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying it. It's a bit of an ambitious Football Manager this year for obvious reasons. I wasn't expecting it to be perfect. A lot of people were like, "Oh my god, you've had 2 years to perfect it, and you haven't." And it's like, it's a bit of an ambitious step. So we shall see. It was never going to be perfect. Should it be better than what it is? Yes. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm still obviously going to play it because I enjoy Football Manager and have done for a number of years. It is quite addictive when you get into it. Are you going to be Celtic's new manager, Martin O'Neill, 2009 vibes? No, not for me. Not for me. I prefer a challenge. I don't obviously know the ins and outs of that story about Brendan Rodgers, by the way. But is it simply because he's not top of the league at this point as to why he's left? Is it because that the first sign of jeopardy in Brendan Rodgers has decided to run? Is that why he's left Celtic? Interesting. Sean Dyche seems to be a good fit at Forest. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't know why they decided to roll the dice and take that huge gamble on Postecoglou when they could have easily, if they wanted to get rid of Nuno, could have easily just gone with Sean Dyche, and it wouldn't have been a lot of transformation from a polar opposite side to the other polar opposite side. Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't go for Sean Dyche to begin with. I'm probably talking absolutely rubbish. This is why you aren't on 1,000. I don't play Football Manager, no. More into FIFA, EAFC game. Maybe that is why, to be honest. Maybe that is why. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Some of you decided to stick around even through my talking nonsense. So maybe there are a few gems in there that I do throw out there every now and again. Let's say I used to be in for EA and FIFA. I've kind of given up on those. Ultimate Team used to be fun. And now everybody just uses their credit card or debit card or their parents' credit or debit card to buy packs, buy players, and pretty much now every team you face is the same. There is no variety, or there's little to no variety in the game. You have players that are overpowered. You have players that should be overpowered but are actually underpowered. You have the women's game involved in the men's game, and the women's teams are superior to the men's teams in some aspects. There was some. I remember seeing certain gameplay where, like, you've got a woman who's like 5'11", maybe at most, out muscling someone like Virgil van Dijk, who's like 6 foot. He's like 6'4", and of course is built massively. I don't know. The game has just become so strange, not just in terms of that particular mechanic and that aspect, but I don't know. It's just it's not my game anymore. Like, that is just EA is just not my game anymore. Like, I enjoyed it back in the day. I enjoyed it growing up. Career mode's fun. A lot of potential with like clubs and things like that, but they don't really do much with it. And like I say, Ultimate Team used to be great. Not anymore. It's just, like I say, you're facing the same teams game after game. It's based on skill. Like, by skill, I basically mean, can you do multiple tricks on the pitch with the ball? It's not about like passing and moving. Maybe next year it'll be about set pieces, given, as I mentioned earlier, about how the modern day game is going. But yeah, FIFA's just not my game no more. It's just not my game. I got a bug in my FC25. There is a supporter standing in the middle circle. That's different. That is funny. Glitch Margo, does the game still play? Yeah, you can walk straight through the fan, just standing there with arms open wide. Didn't that used to be the same for the referee at times? Then the referee used to have that kind of thing. I don't remember. Thoughts if Steven Gerrard turns up at Celtic? Imagine Celtic didn't give Brendan Rodgers money for players. I mean, to be fair, if you're Celtic, do you really need that to win the Premier League? Shouldn't you just be winning it anyway? I don't know. Gerrard would never turn against Rangers, so Gerrard would never be manager of Celtic. Simple as that. Roll the dice. I like it. Thoughts on... Okay. With the Man United goal from a corner, it was 6 Man United players jumping and none of the Forest players jumped. Everybody stood. Never seen anything like it. Like I say, man, set piece goals. Set piece goals are the way going forward. Accrington Stanley, who are they? Exactly. Infamous. Chelsea women are in Football Manager. Their ladies' stadium is in the game, and so on. Yeah, they've included women's football in Football Manager this year, which is an interesting aspect to include, and it just shows their progression and evolution of the game going forward, which I don't mind at all. I don't play FIFA Ultimate Team, only career mode and so on. Okay, I've got to ask, bro. You're paying like a £60, £70 game or whatever just for career mode. Just for career mode. I just had to ask if that's the case. I just had to ask if that's the case. Because, I don't know, it just seems like career mode's fun. I'm just not entirely convinced, like, it's the be-all and end-all. And why you'd pay so much money for a game to play it just on that mode. Do you think that Old Trafford FC fan haircut thing is more attention-seeking now? I'm not into that. No. The guy seems sound enough, and the guy seems like he's legit just doing it as a bit of fun and obviously for charity. So I'm cool with the guy. Obviously I don't know him, but obviously I know of him. He's not doing it for attention. He's definitely not doing it for attention. If it turns out like he's whatever, then obviously that's bad. But I don't think he's doing it for attention. I don't think he's doing it to capitalize on United not being great or anything like that. I think he's just basically doing it for a bit of fun, charity. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it, to be honest. I quite like it. I quite like it from the guy. And with the way that he got attacked the previous week, I can't remember what week it was like a few weeks ago. Apparently he got attacked. I just thought it was ironic that he got attacked by a bald guy with the amount of hair he has in comparison to him. I thought it was quite funny. He got attacked by a bald guy. Obviously, don't want anybody to be attacked, but it was just quite ironic in that aspect that he did get attacked by a bald guy. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I say, I think it's all right. I think it's all right. Speaking of United, by the way, where's Niche Fan at? It's funny that for the past few weeks, Liverpool have been losing. And every time I've done a live stream, Niche Fan's been here doing this, doing all of that, yapping about Man United. Even in our last stream, he actually stated that United were going to make a title charge this season, and they might actually win the Premier League title. And then all of a sudden, they drop points to Forest, and he's nowhere to be seen. Where are you, niche fan? Where are you, bro? Not here. That's where you're not. I'm not into it. As in, no interest in this. Oh, as in the United fan. Well, fair enough. It's not. I think he even understands himself. Like, it's not going to be for everybody, and not everybody's going to understand and get it. But he's not harming anyone. It's not harming anyone. It's not causing any unwanted attention to anything or any bad thing. It's just, like I say, it's a bit of fun that he is doing for charity and for the kind of standards of his football club. Now, whether or not he'll get to 5 wins in a row remains to be seen. This was probably going to be a very good opportunity to do so, and then they messed it up. But yeah, it begins again with Tottenham on. Is it Saturday? I want to say it's Saturday. Could be Sunday, but begins again with Tottenham. So yeah, it is what it is. Look up Zielinski's goal for Inter from last weekend. Looked more like snooker than football beauty. Let's have a look, shall we? Because I've not actually checked any other league this weekend, which I normally do. Just not had time this weekend. Other things going on. What? That's mad. That is perfect. Like, I'm just sat there wondering, like, why is he taking so long with this corner? Why is this corner taking so long? And he's just pinged it. And he's caught it. He'll never catch another volley like that again. Like that perfectly. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Yeah, it was against Verona. Yeah. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. I don't think that guy will ever cut his hair. Also, when he says cut, does he mean buzz cut bald? I imagine so. I don't know what he's like beforehand, so I can't really speak for him. But yeah, I don't know. But I say he's not harming anyone. He seems a good guy. He's doing it for charity. Yeah, it seems all right, man. It seems all right. Makes sense. YouTube has this goal. Yeah, that was quality. That was quality. That was absolutely quality. Like I say, the setup, the catching it perfectly, the contact, the connection. Oh, so sweet. So sweet. Speaking of this, where his niche reminds me of Kara saying, my friend Ty will not be happy. Well, he's not here. This is the thing. He's been talking United. He's been going, you guys should support United and all of that stuff. And then suddenly United drop points. Liverpool win. Normality is somewhat resumed, at least for this past weekend. And he's not here. When is your prediction video out? Thursday this week, or so on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I'm planning on live streaming reaction to Liverpool's game against Real Madrid. I'm planning on it being a live stream. It might just end up being a video. I'm not 100% sure yet. If it'll be one or the other. So Wednesday will be a reaction to the Liverpool Real Madrid game. I'm looking to get the prediction video out for Thursday. It'll be out probably be out Thursday. If not, Friday morning at the least. But it's probably likely to be Thursday for the Premier League predictions video for this week. In the end of the month or early December, FA Cup third round draw, Liverpool against who this time? My money's on Crystal Palace, bro. My money is genuinely on Crystal Palace. It honestly would not surprise me with the way that this season has gone that Liverpool will be playing Crystal Palace in the FA Cup for them to knock us out of every English domestic competition this year. They beat us in the Community Shield. They've beaten us in the Premier League. They've beaten us in the Carabao Cup. Why not make it the whole clean sweep and go for the frigging FA Cup? Like, that is honestly my prediction. Knowing our luck, it probably will be Crystal Palace. We shall obviously wait and see, but who knows? Inside of the foot, still a volley. Oh, yeah. As long as it's, if it hits the ground once, it's obviously half volley, but it still doesn't matter where you hit it. If you hit it whilst it's in the air, then it's a volley. I want Liverpool away to Sutton United or something interesting like this in January, or Plymouth away again. Something like that would be nice, but we shall see. We shall see. Big old reluctant gamer is in the chat. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Glad to have you here with us. Unlucky with your performance and result yesterday. Not the best. What is it with Newcastle this season and away from home? Your away form has been pretty poor this season. I was expecting you to beat West Ham yesterday, but it hasn't exactly panned out that way. Not exactly panned out that way. Yeah, no wins away from home this season for Newcastle so far. What is it with your away form, dude? Interested to know. Good result for you against Aston Villa. Yes. Bringing us back to topic. Yeah, the Aston Villa result was very good. Like I said, I still think Aston Villa didn't play to their fullest capacity. They didn't exploit Liverpool's weaknesses enough in the game, but partially that was down to Liverpool being very, very good, and I think partially down to just Aston Villa, Unai Emery getting it wrong on the day. But we take those. It was a gift of a goal from Mo Salah. Gravenberch has got a slice of fortune, a good slice of fortune with a deflection, but yeah, you make your own luck at times, and Liverpool definitely got what they deserved overall because they definitely deserve to win. And now we move on. We move on to Real Madrid. We move on to the Man City. It's going to be a massive week ahead. A massive week ahead for everybody involved. Newcastle are terrible away from home. West Ham are trash. Pope can't catch a ball. The mindsets are weak. But isn't that why you bought Aaron Ramsdale? Well, not bought, but loaned in. You know what I mean. Isn't that why you got in a new goalkeeper? Because you didn't trust Nick Pope. So, why isn't Aaron Ramsdale starting? Like, I'm just curious because you've obviously loaned him in, but for whatever reason, he's not even played a game for you lot yet. Oh, unless you count the Carabao Cup. Why? Because for me, Pope had a good 80 minutes against Arsenal. And then in the final 10 minutes, he just bottled it. He just absolutely bottled it in the final 10 minutes. And then I was like, right, well, surely there's no way back from that. Surely you've got to start the lone goalkeeper. Otherwise, what's the point of bringing in the lone goalkeeper? Like, I get that Ramsdale may have not been your first choice goalkeeping-wise, but at the same time, like, he's still a decent enough goalkeeper to the point where, you know, he was at a point where he was a close second to David Raya at Arsenal. I'm just curious as to why you would bring in Aaron Ramsdale, because at this point you might as well have gone with one of your academy kids and maybe just tried to bring them up rather than go for someone on loan to not put them in the team. Because that's what I thought the plan was. I thought the plan was for Ramsdale to go straight into the team. Because weren't you at one point looking to get rid of Nick Pope? Wasn't he like going to be going to Man United at one point or something? I just don't get it. I don't get what the plan is as far as what your goalkeeping situation is. But yeah, fair enough. I'd rather have Ramsdale. Fair enough. At the beginning of the season, I'm there like, Nick Pope's better than Aaron Ramsdale. Nick Pope is better than Aaron Ramsdale. Now, I'm not so sure. No, I'm not so sure. Have to go Flash. Talk soon. Talk soon to you, bro. Thank you for... I'll say again. Thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate you being here. Always good to chat to you, my bro. Hope you have a good rest of your day, whatever you are doing. Big up to you, my friend. Big up to you. Calvin Ramsey playing was unexpected the other day. Scottish right back. I forgot he existed. I'm not going to lie. I forgot Calvin Ramsey existed. He'll be back playing in the Scottish League by next season. He'll be back playing in the Scottish League by the end of next season. Big up Ozan who's here. Big up Ozan. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Talk to me, big man. What are you saying? Talk to me about Liverpool. Talk to me about the game last weekend. Talk to me about the games coming up this week. Massive week ahead for the Reds. What's the prediction for the Real Madrid game and the Bayern game? Oh. Two massive games. I don't obviously want to back against my club. As much as I did it this past weekend, I thought we would lose. I don't want to back against my club. I don't want to back against Liverpool. But it happens, you know? It happens. I said earlier on in the stream that I do think we could probably have more of a chance of beating Madrid than Man City. And that's simply for the reason that I think Madrid will play a style that is better suited to us. And I think that Pep and Man City will adapt their style to something that could hurt us more. But I don't know, man. I don't know because I think we could definitely win it. We could definitely win this game. But it's about combinations. It's about getting the right team out there. It's about this Liverpool side doing the basics. We could certainly win this game. We did it last year. And I feel like if we went with a similar sort of team, we can do it again. I say start with the same team that won on Saturday. start with the same team that won on Saturday, and we may go on and win this game. I'm just worried about how much space we're leaving behind our defence. One ball over the top, and Mbappe is through. And my bigger worry and my bigger concern would be Trent Alexander-Arnold scoring the winning goal in that game. If he is to play, if he is to start, if he is to come off the bench, whatever the hell the case may be, if he is to play some part in that game, my worry would be him scoring against us. That's my worry. But it's going to be a tough game. I don't know. If we'd have lost on Saturday, my instant reaction would have been we would definitely lose this one. But with us being at Anfield, obviously you've got the recent rivalry between Liverpool and Real Madrid. You have obviously the added intensity with the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation thrown into it. I think the players could really feed off of the energy that the Liverpool supporters are going to give to them on the day. So I think based on pure emotion and pure energy, I think Liverpool, at the very least, get a draw from this game. I think at the very least, we get a draw from this game. I don't think we lose, but I'm also not entirely confident we win. I think at the very least, we get a draw from this game. Ozan says, so glad the Premier League losing streak is finally over. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. I agree with you there. Can we pull off another back-to-back 2-0 win against Real Madrid and City? I hope so. I really hope so. Like I say, Real Madrid, I think the least we'll get is a draw. Man City, it could be anything. It really could be anything. All I know is that you're going to get a very, very entertaining game against City. A very entertaining game. Because it always is entertaining. You know, we're not as dull or as boring as certain other teams. But yeah, it's going to be an entertaining game. I'm sure of it. I don't think Trent will play. I think he'll get some minutes. I would be very surprised if he doesn't. I would be very surprised. I want to see Trent scoring. The assist, though, is possible. Fair enough. Either way, it's still bad. Whether he gets an assist or whether he scores, it's still bad. But it would be. This won't happen. This won't happen. But here's what I want to happen. I want us tomorrow night to see that Trent is starting, and for us to go, Rio Ngamoa, go and absolutely cook him. Go and absolutely cook Trent like you did reportedly in training all of those times. That is what I want to see tomorrow. I want to see Rio Ngamoa go out on that pitch and absolutely cook Trent Alexander-Arnold to pieces. I don't think it will happen. I don't think he'll play Rio tomorrow. He may get like a 5-minute cameo or something, but I don't think he'll play. But that is the dream. That is the dream. That is the dream. Because Gakpo isn't going to do it. Gakpo's not going to do it because Gakpo always just looks to go inside Like, he gets the ball and his instinct is cut inside on my right foot and blast it into Rose head. That's Gakpo's instinct. I'd say Liverpool 2-1. Yous will show up. I hope you're right, bro. I really do hope you're right. I really, really hope you're right. You got the last predicting the Madrid game. You forgot about the Bayern. Oh, Brian prediction. Yes, they've got PSG, haven't they? Just want to double check. Yes, I can't remember if it was PSG first or whether it was Arsenal first, but I know they have got Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time. PSG Bayern. I think on the balance of everything, I think PSG are more balanced. I think they've got the better midfield. I think they may have the stronger defense. I'm going with PSG only just. But I'm expecting goals. I'm expecting goals galore. So I'm going to go for something like a 3-2 or a 4-2 or a 4-3 or something. I'm expecting goals because Harry Kane is in inspired form. But PSG are still going strong. And this is the kind of result or performance, game, whatever you want to call it, where they need to step up. They could step up. Both teams, the top two teams currently in the league phase, could really step up tomorrow night. I'm annoyed that it's on at the same time as the Liverpool game. I'm annoyed at that. Why couldn't it be on a different night? Or why couldn't one of them be playing at 5:45 or whatever it is? Why do both games have to be on at the same bloody time? That is annoying. Especially when you consider, like, Napoli, Frankfurt, and Slavia Prague versus Arsenal are the 5:45 games tomorrow. And on Wednesday, Chelsea Karabag, who cares? Man City Dortmund, might be a decent game, is on at 8 o'clock. Paphos and Villarreal is the other 5:45 game. Newcastle, your lot, are obviously against Bilbao on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I'm annoyed at that. Why couldn't the Bayern game be on either at 5:45 or the next day? I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So dumb. So very, 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 very dumb. Whoever's designed that, whoever's scheduled that, I want to punch in the face. That is really, really not cool. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Ugh. So annoying. So annoying. Bayern prediction. I will get there in the end. Oh no, I did, didn't I? Goals galore. PSG win. But Harry Kane's probably going to get 2. And PSG are probably going to get 4 somehow. 4-2, 4-3. I can't wait for that game. City. Say that again. City. Proper Manc accent. City. Ugh. It's disgusting, isn't it? It's stupid how both games are on at the same time. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I hate when that happens. And especially, like I say, when you've got... I know, obviously, time differences and things of that nature do come into play. But 5:45... The 5:45 games on both days. I mean, Napoli-Frankfurt might be an interesting game. Slavia Prague-Arsenal. Is anybody going into that game thinking Slavia Prague are going to get anything from that game? Arsenal are looking impenetrable. And even if Arsenal do get 1 goal, you just know that Slavia Prague are not going to respond. That game has got an Arsenal win written all over it. And then you look at the 5:45 games for the next night. Chelsea versus Karabag. That might have something to do with time difference, which is why Karabag are playing at 5:45. And Paphos against Villarreal. With all due respect to those games, no one cares about those games in comparison to PSG Bayern Munich. And yet you're putting that on at the same time as Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Who cares? I mean, Wednesday night, look at the games Wednesday night. Man City, Dortmund, that could be interesting. Newcastle, Atletico Bilbao, that again could be an interesting game. Ajax, Galatasaray, meh. Club Brugge against Barcelona. I mean, Bruges have some decent young players, but Barcelona should be winning that and winning that comfortably. Benfica, Leverkusen. The only thing you're watching there is basically Jose Mourinho. Inter, Kyra. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I do apologize. But again, Inter should be winning that game as well. And Marseille, Atalanta, which again could be an interesting one. But in comparison to other games that are being played at the same time, probably going to get a bit overshadowed by the likes of City, by the likes of whoever. So, Fletch, are you worried that Wirtz hasn't settled in well at all to the English game's pace and speed? No, because we're not buying him solely for like one season or half a season. We're buying him for the next 5, 6, maybe even longer than that years. Is it annoying he hasn't hit the ground running? Yes. Especially when you consider that there are other players that have hit the ground running. Ekitike has, which is obviously a positive for Liverpool, but we would like all of our signings to hit the ground running. Ekitike has, Voltemada has at Newcastle, and that's just naming 2 players that have come from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, hit the ground running. Wirtz just hasn't yet. And, you know, there is a possibility that he might not. He might not do. I think he will. I think the talent is definitely there. I think the idea is definitely there. It's just sometimes been the execution. Has he been let down by his teammates at times? Yes, because I think that he probably could have already had a Premier League assist or 2 here and there, depending on how his teammates would have performed. I still go back to the one he did 45 seconds into coming on as a substitute against Chelsea. That little kind of flick and spin that he did to put it in the path of Mo Salah. And Salah really should be scoring from that range, but he didn't do it. So I do think he has been a little unlucky and unfortunate. But at the same time, I just think that Wirtz just needs a bit of time. And like I said earlier on in the live stream, bro, I think using the same team that we put out there against Aston Villa for future reference, I think that's a good way of not just trying to put confidence back into the team, not just a way of trying to change things a little slower than what we were originally planning on doing, but also just bleeding those new players in slowly but surely will be good. It will be really, really good for us in the long run. I'm not a fan of playing Wirtz with Ekitike, but I am a fan of playing Wirtz with Isak. I'm not a fan of playing Isak with a midfield 3 of Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch, but I am a fan of playing Ekitike with that midfield 3. So I think it's about combinations. I think on Slot's part, it's about him getting it right. But overall, Wirtz and Isak need to play together. Wirtz needs time. And I'm just saying this to the rival fans now. laugh now whilst you have the opportunity to do so. Because I think once it starts to click and once it starts to flow a bit more, and once the players around Wirtz get used to having a number 10 like him, and when he gets used to the Premier League, how he's not allowed as much time on the ball or anything like that he probably was used to getting in the Bundesliga, that is when things are going to turn. That is when things are going to get better for Florian Wirtz, and that is when things are going to get better for Liverpool. Because I think it's all just about a matter of time before he eventually starts to click. And when he clicks, I think the team around him are going to fall into place. I still believe, even when we were playing poorly, there was no scapegoating from me. There was no pinning the blame on one particular player. It's about seeing the bigger picture. It's about seeing that this Florian Wirtz guy has been a little unfortunate not to get more than what he should have probably got by now. But he's not the reason why we're performing poorly. He is not the reason why we are struggling right now. And he will eventually come good. Because we all see the talent. We all see the talent. We all see the quality. And the fact of the matter is, anybody who had the money to go and get Florian Wirtz this summer would have done exactly what Liverpool did. They would have done exactly what Liverpool did and gone and got him. If they had the money to burn, they would have done it. That's why Man City wanted him. That's why Bayern Munich wanted him. And anybody else, if they had the money and the realistic chance of signing him, they would have done that. And the only reason he's getting ridiculed is because Liverpool bought him and Liverpool bought him for big money. It's the only reason why he's getting ridiculed right now. So I've got no problems. I've also got problems and concerns, but I have no concerns in the long run that we won't see the best of Florian Wirtz for a consistent length of time. I'm sure we will see him flourish very, very soon. But look, big win from Saturday. Big win from Saturday. Much needed win. A non-negotiable win. Fantastic win overall. Onwards. Tomorrow night. Real Madrid. Under the lights at Anfield. Champions League night. I both am nervous and cannot wait at the same time. What does that mean for Liverpool going forward? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. Arne Slot needs to show a level of consistency the same way that these players need to show a level of consistency. Arne Slot needs to show that it wasn't just a one-off, that he picked the right team. He needs to show that he can pick the right team with the right combinations game after game after game after game. The players need to show that they can perform the basics game after game after game. They need their pressing game to be on point. They need their passing to be on point. They need to feed off of the energy that the crowd is going to be giving them. And they need to turn it into something extremely positive. Because, like I say, I'm not flip-flopping based on results, on my current stance on this Liverpool team and the manager. I ain't flip-flopping. But that was a very good way on Saturday of showing me that he can adapt. He can change. He can do things differently. But it needs to be on a consistent basis. It needs to be done week in, week out, game in, game out. And it needs to be done to a very consistent level. Otherwise, this is just Frankfurt all over again. This is just Frankfurt. Good performance. Great result. Now we need to kick on. Oh, but we lost to Brentford. Oh, but we lost to Crystal Palace and threw away a decent opportunity at some silverware this season. We can't be doing that again. It's just the way that it is. Can't be doing that again. Then after that, Manchester City. Manchester City. Massive game going into the international break. Again, must not lose. A must not lose game. But certainly a game we can get a win at. Even if it is at the Etihad. They're certainly there for the taking. But at the same time, we can be too. So it's going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be a very interesting week ahead. I cannot wait for it, but at the same time, I am nervous. But a massive, monumental week for Liverpool Football Club, nonetheless. Guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, each and every single one of you, so much for joining me on this Monday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Really enjoyed talking to you. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your continued or brand new support to the channel. You guys are absolutely awesome. Cannot thank you enough for all of that good stuff. Really does mean the world to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video / live stream. And I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.